Got it. All right. Today it is my honor to welcome Jacqueline D'Amico. Jacqueline is a holistic life coach, yoga instructor, and mindfulness expert based in Dallas, Fort Worth. Originally from the New Jersey area, Jacqueline studied at Muhlenberg College. She then pursued her passion of becoming a holistic life coach at the Health Coach Institute, mastering in habit change and the Transformational Coaching Method. Her passion has led her to building her own wellness collective where she is able to help individuals seek holistic support and tap into a better version of themselves. Welcome, Jacqueline. So happy to have you. You look fun.
Thank you. So grateful to be here with
Yes,
you.
I just love your style. Like I honestly am always trying to find a way to look like you. And you just have like this aura about you. I just love it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I so appreciate it. Yeah, I decided to put on a fun hat today. Usually when I connect with others, I'm really all about like dress up to show up sometimes. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes a fun hat and fun earrings is all you need. Just
Absolutely.
spruce up your day.
Absolutely. So, Jacqueline, before we kind of get into some of the questions I have for you, how has the pandemic and just the overall change in lifestyle affected you and your business?
Hmm. Great question. I think that's super relevant for so many folks, especially women. I mean, I'm seeing so many businesses are growing and like starting. And so for me too, I feel like my business really sort of kicked in at the onset of this when, we had to really, put the brakes on, take a pause and reevaluate. For me personally, like, where am I going in life? What do I want to be doing? And it was really during that time, like thinking, honestly, this time last year, like I was supposed to be in London performing. And here I am a year later, right? So much can change in a year. And so I feel like the pandemic has been a time to do a lot of reflection, to really step back and see like how can I move forward with a little bit more intentionality and continue forward like with my why and purpose. And so I think if nothing else, yeah, it's been really stinking challenging, but that's just a part of this journey called life. So I'm holding a lot of gratitude in my heart to be here talking about this. So yeah, I think the pandemic, yeah, definitely a lot of learning lessons, taking a lot of gleanings of hope in there too. But yeah, it's been a time of growth and expansion, more than anything else, I think, which I'm happy to say.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it any better. It's especially kind of in this holistic world.
Mm,
People need folks like you to be able to lift them up. So that's kind of why I was drawn to you, and particularly even before the pandemic. You just have this wonderful energy about you that just brings light, and I'm so happy to see that you're kind of flourishing during this time and being able to share your gifts with others. So thank you so much.
thank you. Yeah.
So
Mm.
what you were like as a kid, and where did you grow up?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love this question. What was I like as a child? Oh, I was wild. I mean, similar to how I am right now, honestly, truly. I honestly probably had about this much hair. It was probably a little bit shorter, wild, curly, very frizzy. And with that, I was the embodiment of my hair. I was loud. I think, if nothing else, I would ask my parents, I was loud. I was loud. I was in everyone's business. I do also remember like one of my first movement memories is like dancing to Shania Twain. Man, I feel like a woman in our living room. I was probably about 5 years old in plastic heels and a feathered boa. Do they still make those things? I really hope so because I loved all of it. So I definitely was this free spirit. I love to dance and sing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Wild, loud, free, all of those things. Yeah,
I know, like I wonder if the little girls these days even play with those plastic heels because those
I
were
hope so.
that's so funny that you like it really
Yeah,
just brings you back.
yes. Simpler times, simpler times.
Absolutely. So you mentioned your movement background, and you have a wonderful
Mm-hmm.
movement background of dance and both yoga. Can you tell us about that background in movement and kind of where it's brought you to today?
Yeah, I think. even reflecting where does the story begin? I don't know, when I was first born, right? I think thinking of like those Shania Twain like moments, which I still have in my bed. I'm having dance parties in my bedroom all the time to Shania Twain, lover. I would say, I don't know, really like ABBA. I feel like I was dancing before I could walk, kind of thing. Like my parents put me into classes when I was really young because I did have so much energy, but truthfully, I was so stage fright. Like I had such stage fright for a really long time. But I was almost like this triple threat in a way. Like I did, the recreational theater and things like that. I would sing and dance, I would act. And for a while, I think it was very much, a way for me to like exert my energy. And I found it was such a love between being able to move my body, sing the songs, move the songs through my body. And it wasn't until high school really that it really transitioned from something of more recreation and fun and just that pure joy of being able to move and being able to socialize too. Obviously, dance is a very social act and a way to come together. So it was there till I realized that performing was something that I could pursue even beyond. So in college, that was for me, it was really shook my foundation in understanding dance to be more than just this performative practice, right? I didn't just have to live for the applause, like Lady Gaga, pun intended, but I did for a really long time. I was so used to, putting on that red blush, even like my competition days of like the glittery purple eyeshadow and like, I don't know if y'all did like star clips, like in your slick back buns and things like that. But it was a different time of where I felt like I had to wear like these different facades. I had to be this certain version of me on stage and also off stage. And so in college, for me, it was understanding the cultural implications of dance, understanding it as movement and dance as really a language in a way that we can communicate and connect and be in community with others. And so I studied dance education, dance science, when I was in undergrad as well. And then even beyond that, being able to perform once I moved to Philadelphia and do work here and there. Again, more of like the collaboration, the connection, which even as a life coach now, that's so important to me. Like those 3 C's, I would say community, collaboration, and connection are so integral, not just for me, but as a human being, right? Being social creatures. So a part of that, realizing movement is my love language. It is, and dance is my first love. And when I first found yoga, it was at a time, I think, when I was still in high school, where I had to contort into all these like pretzel-like shapes. And I thought it was about the physical body. I thought it was about the asana and these pretzel postures. And it wasn't until I got a little older, going into college and then working towards my yoga teacher certification, that we're so much more than a body, and understanding that mind and soul connection and how they are in constant communication with one another, right? The mind, the body, the soul. There might be this mind chatter. I know a lot of times with my clients, I talk about that mind chatter, the inner critic, the voice of judgment. But to be able to drop out of your head into your heart and into your body, that's where you get to experience a sense of flow. So that's where I feel like I could marry dance and yoga, find these more embodied practices. And I didn't care what I looked like. I cared more about what was I feeling? What could I move through to heal through whatever was happening in my life? So I think movement has been this beautiful thing. Like if I imagine my life as this painting, right? It's that thing, that red through line that has carried me through everything that I do, which is so wonderful. And even like what I teach you and why I'm so passionate about, regardless, I don't care whatever you consider yourself to be or whatever you get to do. Like if you have a body, it is designed and destined to move. And so you deserve to move it in whatever way feels like joyful and authentic to you. Maybe it's a dance party, maybe it's a good old stretch, maybe it's like yoga nidra or strength training, whatever it is. I'm always a huge proponent for just moving your body, no matter how you identify with that or whatever that looks like. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. Did it?
It sure does. It sure does. And I
Yeah.
love how you talked about, um, growing up kind of in that competition world
Mm,
and, putting on a performance for the applause. Like that is so relevant to so many of us who kind of grew up in that world, myself included. And then kind of as you evolve and, become more of a dancer, you realize it's not even about that. It's
mm,
about,
mm,
the internal, and we are so meant to be moving and to be exploring and to really kind of that inner self reflection is so important. So you really hit the nail on the head when it comes to, just kind of getting out of yourself, not
mm,
looking for the moments of some people need that kind of reassurance, or you need someone to say, hey, you're doing a good job, or hey,
Yeah.
round of applause, stand up,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that comes from within as well. So I think you really have a great way of communicating that to people, and which is another reason why I brought you on here, because I also want to share you with my students. I'm like one of those people when I find something that I really like. I don't like to just keep it to myself.
Oh.
Share it with people,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love how you have brought this into your holistic practice, how you share
Mm.
people as well. So kind of
Yeah.
transitioning into the next question
Yeah.
for you, that brings me to what brought you into wanting to be a holistic life coach, and what does that mean to people who might not be familiar with that term?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, holistic being, you think a whole person, right? Whole being, really complementing or looking at one's life and the, many different facets, areas of it, and connecting your mind, your body, and your soul. And this, I mean, it's not the most, I think now maybe it's a little bit more normalized and popular in terms of understanding it mainstream, but what it looks like to have those breakthroughs or be able to transform your life by connecting and like opening up like the channels and the energy between your mind, your body, and your spirit, right? So I would say, how did I get into coaching? I think, well, really a lot of it too with dance and moving from a place of, I had a lot of coaches and mentors and choreographers throughout my life, right? Of course. And that was at a time where I was very good about taking direction. I was a perfectionist. I did everything as it was, but I was very attached to the outcome. And so I feel like when I was first introduced to coaching, it like flipped all of that on its head. I was suddenly asking myself, like, I was posed with these thought-provoking questions. I had to like peel back the layers and really unbecome who the world really taught me to be. And like I hold so much love and gratitude for the dance and like even still, like I'm a huge proponent for the arts and performance, but understanding that I rely too heavily on what others told me or asked of me, right? I really was attached to that, platinum, gold, silver, whatever they are nowadays, right? And I cared so deeply about that, even more so, right? Again, we're human beings, so a part of it, like we crave that connection and we crave a sense of understanding and appreciation from those that are important to us. But when we only rely on external validation, we're no longer living our own lives, right? So I think coaching from the holistic sense and looking at life coaching, because I have the background in both health and life, I was leaning more towards life because I really wanted to understand more about the mind and the body and how that showed up for folks in transforming their fears and even being able to articulate and really talk about even their desires, which when we're children, I feel like we're always asked, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? But once, you hit that age or you hit that marker, if we're raised a little bit more traditionally, like you go to school, you get degrees, you go to your 9 to 5, you retire, which is certainly one path. Like I hold space, no judgment, but realizing that was not my path and noticing how I needed a little bit more intentionality and a mindful way about living life. And so that's why I sought out coaching. And then I realized, whoa, like this is, I think this is my greater why. Like there's something here. And so really just like being able to like follow the heart tugs, like, curiosity will leave cues for you all around you, and however you identify, if you believe whatever your higher power, God or the universe, things just started to fall into place. And I realized, okay. And it really was when the pandemic first hit too, I was really about, okay, I think coaching, this is what I want to do. Because, this time last year I was performing, I was a wellness director, I was teaching all across Philadelphia, and very much about the hustle and bustle of life. And now I think holistic life coaching too, it teaches you to slow down. It teaches you to surrender and realize that your worth is not tied to your level of productivity, right? Like busyness is not a badge of honor that you need to wear, right? You can simply just be. So I think in this time of my life too, I'm less about doing and embracing that sense of being. And I think that relates beautifully to the process of dance and making art, that you might see something on stage or you might see a finished product, but thinking about the process, the rehearsals, the time in between, like what you had to do, who you had to become this product of this thing, right? And not to say that life is about this product that we're creating, but I think really honoring this part of it all, like that red through line, being able to dance through life, go with the flow where you can. But I mean, I say that with privilege, right? And being able to say there are a lot of things in life that, can hold you back, certain circumstances. So that's why we kind of look at, what can we step back, become a loving witness in our life, start to break down some of those beliefs that aren't actually ours, start to get a little nitpicky and embrace some of the fear, the discomfort, those thoughts, that inner critic that isn't actually us, but we have been like a victim to or a bully, because there's a bad bully in here, I think, in our minds sometimes, but it becomes a part of our journey and a part of our responsibility as we get older to understand what is not actually us and what is not actually serving us. So long story short, I would say that's what holistic life coaching is about, right? So understanding too, how you do one thing in life is probably how you do mostly everything, whether you're aware or conscious of that. So I'm happy to, often what we do, we just kind of look at one area of life. Maybe it's spirituality, career, finances, relationships, health, and kind of break apart, look at your mindset, look at what are your movement practices, are you incorporating mindfulness? And like, that's a part of my 4Ms too, that really encompasses what I consider holistic life coaching to be for me right now. Is I'm utilizing mindfulness, manifestation, mindset tools, and movement, and combine that all together, and you've got magic. So
what a beautiful combination of just
yeah.
one thing. I love how, you kind of came into this organically, and you've really found your calling, and just seeing you kind of in that element, it is you're just beaming. So I'm always happy to see, someone who has kind of found what, their purpose is, or found what the life's journey is about. And it's just beautiful to see that all of these things have kind of culminated into this wonderful practice that you share with others. So thank you so much for sharing your process and your journey, and understanding that there are going to be ups and downs along the way, and it's all a part of it. So wonderful, wonderful. Very good. And in the meantime of doing all of this, you have created this amazing brand that you're so passionate about, and I just admire. I absolutely love your energy, and have had the opportunity to actually tune into your awesome sessions that have actually helped me, and I've been able to like pull pieces in to kind of just my journaling and things like that. So I appreciate it tenfold. But share what you currently offer and what people can expect in connecting with you as a coach.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always loved having you in all of my sessions. So thank you for being there and showing up for yourself. So presently, I am just doing one-on-one coaching at the moment. And, again, I'm always about evolving and expanding, but holding into the space for this container that I have here before going on into group coaching and memberships and retreats or what have you. But right now, my 90-day immersion is it's a 90-day coaching container, this experience, mentorship, however you want to identify it. And so we kind of go through my 5 steps to breakthrough, it's the process that I went through myself. And so from the different learnings that I have from, even undergrad and, my coaching with the Health Coach Institute, all of that, and even the very tools that I use for myself, right? So for me, even as being a coach, a teacher, and instructor, I am a forever student. So I am a student of this work, right? To be able to practice what you preach is often harder or easier said than done, right? So we kind of go through those 5 steps within the 12-week program. We meet once a week, and in between, we have some mind care moments, some assignments for you to do in between. And so it's really about, again, regardless of what area of life you choose. Right now, I work with women, and so they tend to be the type A, recovering perfectionists, maybe chronic people pleasers, who are realizing that there is more to life, or they really want this sense of ease and enjoyment, but they are feeling so depleted. They're probably on the verge of burnout, caught in this hamster wheel of almost just perfectionist and then procrastinating on things that they want to do, having to be perfect, do all the things and do all the things well. So being able to step back from that and let go, really shed and unbecome all the things that actually aren't them, which kind of comes from, okay, what did society teach you? What did you learn when you were a child? What are you holding on to from, past this or that is really just a 100-ton shield of armor that you have around yourself as weighing you down, right? So being able to try different mindfulness tools and techniques to come to the present moment, release what was, release what can be, then to say yes to self, which is about really cultivating that sense of presence, which is where the mindfulness comes in, which is where checking in with the mindset is, and utilizing movement to unlock all of that. And that's how you can start to take aligned action. And then you got to like release, renew, and repeat, right? So as all the work that you do, there is a sense of surrendering and being. And we really talk about stillness more than anything else, to just be able to slow down. So this 90-day immersion, I think my mission really is to kind of help you overcome anything that you feel like is slowing you down, keeping you stuck from like living your most abundant and aligned life, whatever that looks like, right? Like only you can paint that picture. Only you can design that life, right? So right now, that's what I have. We're all about living that best flow life. But I'm excited, in the future to grow that into, again, a group program, a membership of sorts where I can have all of the things, my meditations, the coaching pieces, community calls, yoga classes, even dance classes, different embodiment practices. Yeah.
Awesome. All of that stuff is so wonderful. And I'm so happy to, kind of allow my community to be introduced to this. And we'll have to talk a little bit more because I'd love to kind of have you, speak with some of my clients and things like that, because I think in this space, it's not just about one thing. It's not just about movement. It's not just about, manifestation. It's not just about self-reflection. It's all of these different things that are pulled together to create kind of this new world that might have a better perspective or a better version of themselves at the end.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that you have pursued this passion. And what advice would you say for anyone who might be on the fence in kind of taking the next step or overcoming a challenge or trying to go through
Yeah, first thing I would say would just be like, slow down, give yourself grace, right? Challenges and resistance in life, it's a normal thing to experience. So I think in a way, you got to get curious if you can, right? Get curious and seek out the wisdom, even though, you might be in the thick of it, whatever it looks like, whatever, area of tension or again, like resistance you might be feeling, embrace it. Don't run away from it, because what you resist persists. Like you try to push it down, it's going to come back tenfold and it's going to smack you in the face and it's not going to feel good. And just like move through in the best way that you can. I mean, we're always doing the best that we can with what we know, with what, with our circumstance. And I think it really is often the power of perspective and choice, so whatever the challenge may be, I'm thinking maybe the challenge is likely outside of you. So if you can, again, tap out and tune in and kind of, like step back, release that for a moment, maybe even express gratitude, try to trigger the opposite emotion of whatever that challenge is bringing up. Maybe it's fear, it's uncertainty, it's overwhelm, it's anxiety. Try to express gratitude, because, we know what you appreciate grows, like what you focus on, that's where your intention goes, that's where the energy flows. And like learn to rest. Nothing is permanent. You cannot quit, right? But see if you can detach, choose again, and know that this too shall pass. Yeah. And it's okay to ask for support. I should say that too. You don't have to do it alone, right? We're not meant to do this thing called life, right? And these are just like little words and phrases that I'm saying, but life is more than just the words that we speak, but even still, that's important too. So yeah, check in with yourself, but know that it's also okay to ask for help. I think oftentimes too, the women that I get to work with too, this is like one of the first times they really ever ask for help, because it's a really vulnerable thing to like, one, become aware of your situation and realize, okay, wait, like I might need support. Like, I don't think I can do this alone. And there is nothing wrong with that. So being able to that's like a form of self-care too, to like check in with yourself, hold space, like see these, maybe boundaries that are being broken around your life and be like, okay, it might be time to ask for help. And then from there, then in that moment, you're like back in the driver's seat. Maybe you have a passenger who's going to help you through, remind you when you might need to stop for gas, or you might need to slow down, like stop going 90 miles an hour. Let's take it down to 45 in the right lane. It's okay. You're still going to get where you're going. Slow down and you'll speed up eventually again.
Yeah. words of wisdom. Thank you so much. On behalf of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, Jacqueline, we are so honored to have you here with us, and thank you for taking the time to sit down and just chat about all the wonderful things that you are doing. Can you just share with us where people can find you, where they can contact you, and how they can sign up for your program as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best way to get in contact with me is Instagram. I love it there. It's like my favorite social platform to just really connect with people and have fun and play and share. So my handle is at jdansinyogini. So that's JDANCINYOGINI. That's the true me. I'm a dancing yogini through life. So that's the best way. And so for folks who are like on the fence about coaching and like wondering if that's the next best step for them, I do have, I mean, your first coaching call is always free. That's, to kind of help unlock your breakthroughs, to really see, like, it's a partnership, it's a relationship. So to see if they're a good fit for me, if I'm a good fit for them, kind of thing. But honestly, it's really no strings attached. Like, even if we don't work together, I still like to send you off with some soulful and strategic tips to kind of help you move the needle forward, right? Forward is the motion, no matter your speed, we're going forward. But yeah, I'm definitely only ever a DM away. And that's where I like to connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And we look forward to seeing all the things that you continue to do. And I will make sure to link all of the information at the bottom so people can contact you. Thanks again. You are a true gem. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Leanne. I appreciate it. Thank you.